This is going to be a continuation of the Bottle 3 design, the carafe bottle we've been working on. So this will be the closure development. It's going to be pretty straightforward. So what I decided to do is just take the geometry that we used to create the bottleneck. So you probably all recognize this reverse curve pattern that we created as a source to do the bottleneck detail. So I took this, let's bring up the bottle so you can see where it's positioned. I positioned it up on top of the bottle. So I just took these two sources and sized them and positioned them in such a way that we could just easily loft this and create this crown closure feeling. It's pretty popular in the category. So I'm going to tangent loft, which means it's going to take these two sources and just string them together. And we have this nice shape. So we can cap that off like this little demonstration I have over on the side here, just like we made the top neck of the top of the bottle by making this dome structure on the top to cap that off and complete that. So I just want to take this opportunity to, since it's a very simple shape, I want to take this opportunity to talk about other ways of lofting. So I've been using this tangent loft tool the entire time, which basically takes these sources and strings them together. There's another option here, which is very interesting. It's called perpendicular loft. And I want to demonstrate the difference of this. So I'm going to go to the front. And see, this is the loft I've been using, this image on the left. When you take two sources, it just connects them and it creates a straight edge, a nice taper. It's a nice looking cap, and I put a cover on it. If we use the perpendicular loft, perpendicular means it's going to take the source, the one at the top and the one at the bottom, and it's going to start our shape at 90 degrees from that. It's going to drag that straight down and then blend it to the bottom. I know it sounds a little confusing, but let's see what that looks like. So you can see the difference in the profile. The top is coming straight down. We have a nice reverse curve, and it's blending straight to the bottom. So it's encouraging that profile to have this reverse curve by doing the perpendicular loft. So that is also a very nice detail. And I might even use that. It's a little bit more interesting than just straight up. So this is a design detail. So we can look at it with the rest of our bottle and see how we feel. I really like the way that works compared to straight up, but they're both good. I'm going to show another option here. It's going to move this over and talk about these options. So let's go back to our sources. They are ghosted, which is very nice. So we can bring them back. I can find it. Unghost. Unghost. What we can do is we can create this effect and we can control that by using our tangent loft. So I'm going to select the top source. I'm going to move one copy just slightly down. So I'm creating a tangent loft effect at the top by saying that these sources have to go from these two first and then down to the bottom. So let's see what this is going to look like. So now I'm going to select these in order for lofting. Select that one, this one, and the one down at the bottom. I'm going to go back to the lofting, the tangent loft that we've been using all along, but with this added little detail of moving that one copy. So when I do that, we now have this one curve in one direction because it's coming tangent from the top and completing the form at the bottom. So this is a little detail on working with these lofting tools. So back to finishing these constructions, let's take a look at created the source, which made the top of the structure over here. Now, originally I created this larger curve. I'm just putting this in the 3/4 view so we can talk about how this is going to work. I'm going to revolve that around center. So this is a dome. I'm going to do it at 180 degrees because we're just working with the top. So if I select the source, select our center line, and we can take a look at that intersection. So it's not completely intersecting with that face. This is a similar technique that we use for the top of the bottle. So I'm just going to move that down until I, oops, select. So I'm going to move that down so you can see how that, I want to make sure that face is completely clearing that top. Let's just make this the same color so it's not confusing. So we have these different curve profiles from the loft. I have the original, which is straight. I got this nice reverse curve. And then I have this one where I've created a tangent from the top and then straight on the bottom. So let's see what this looks like if we trim split these two surfaces, both surfaces. I'm going to create the bottom, select the bottom and the top. And that shows that nice curve shape. So that's quite nice. So now we have curves in multiple directions here. When I created the first one, I flattened this dome shape, which could be done. So as we're looking at these, if you want to make some design decisions on the way, we can do that. So let's say I feel like this is a little bit too curved. I want to flatten that down. So I'm going to go to independent scale. I'm going to select that point, go straight up, and just kind of squish that down a little bit, flatten it out. And then we can go back to our trim split, select the bottom, select the top. So now I have a flatter top. I'm not saying anyone is better than the other, but I'm just talking about how we can design and sculpt on the fly as we're working. All right, so these are some variations on how to do that. I could also do this same top with this reverse curve and create a different look. So those are some options that are interesting for the closure. So by having this closure, I'm going to make some decisions on my own and pick one and integrate that with the bottle. And then we'll, since we have our label is in here and we have our geometry, in the next tutorial, I'm going to stitch all this together and then we'll work on doing a 3D rendering.